This is iPhone 13 in 2023. Is it a good buy or a goodbye? Hi everyone, this is JD, your gadget review friend. Welcome back to Gadget Rev Now. Apple released the full lineup of their iPhones last year, and iPhone 13 is still part of this year's series, together with all iPhone 14s. Right now, it's being sold at $850 Canadian dollars, and if you're highly invested in Apple products, this is the most affordable they have outside the iPhone SE series. So for the prospective buyers, these are the things that we like about this phone, the things that we don't like, and our recommendations. Let's go to work. Let's talk about the things that we like. These are the photos and videos coming from this iPhone. First, the dual camera setup with sensor shift OIS or optical image stabilization. This is only available for Pro models before, but now the regular iPhone 13 has it. Forget about the numbers and the megapixels. In real life, in my user experience, this phone takes really good photos. You can also shoot videos on iPhone 13 at 4K 24, 30, and 60 frames per second, as well as Full HD at 30, 60, 120, and 240 FPS. The big video recording upgrade on this phone is the introduction of cinematic mode that allows you to film with bokeh effect where the background of your shot is blurred. The effect also follows faces that are in the frame, so it will switch between subjects. Honestly, this year, if I could only use one phone to shoot everything on my channel but don't want to spend a whole lot, I would go for iPhone 13 or 13 mini. iPhone 13 has excellent build quality. I like what Apple is doing to the recent iPhones, putting excellent material from the glass to the frame and the frosted camera module. They also created their own glass protection together with Corning. The front panel has Apple's ceramic shield technology that was introduced on the iPhone 12 series. Just a bit of a trade-off, it has aluminum frame, not as sturdy as the stainless steel frame of the Pro models, but for me, metal is metal, and aluminum is one of the great and tested premium materials used on smartphones. The A15 Bionic processor is teamed with 4 gigs of RAM, and that's one of the fastest combination today. It is less than what you need on an Android phone, but Apple doesn't need a lot of RAM to make the most out of its A15 Bionic. The storage options are 128, 256, and 512 gigs, and if you're planning to shoot a lot of photos, videos, and download music over a couple of years, I recommend going for the beefier 256 or 512 gigs variant. Apple has at least dropped the smaller 64 gigs of storage that has been its base offering for the last 2 years. By the way, today we are in collaboration with VOLTME, and if you wanted the better and cheaper alternative for your wireless Magsafe power bank of Apple, they are introducing the VOLTME MAGPAK 5K. I will leave the link in the description below for you to buy this Magsafe power bank, because who doesn't want a Magsafe power bank for your iPhone? So this Magsafe wireless power bank has 5000 mAh battery and it's 3 times the capacity of Magsafe power bank from Apple. This power bank is compatible with iPhone 12, 13, and 14, the regular Pro and Pro Max, but not the iPhone 12 and 13 mini. It has a rubber and leather finish to it that feels nice and soft. It has a kickstand too. It has a battery indicator below that shows you how much juice you have, and this works perfectly on a Magsafe case or just a bare iPhone. And the best thing about this is, this Magsafe wireless power bank is only under $60, so this is much cheaper than the Apple Magsafe wireless charger, which is around $120. This is definitely cheaper and better, so if you'd like to purchase this product, I will leave the link in the description below. And that's it, let's go back to the video. The next thing that we love is the Super Retina XDR display rated at 1200 nits. That will rival the screen brightness of Android competitors, including Samsung. There are 13 bezels around the screen, and some of the display is also taken up with the notch at the top. Yes, there's still a notch on the iPhone 13, but it's 20% smaller than the notch on the iPhone 12, giving you a touch more screen and real estate. This phone has impressive battery life. If we talk about the physical battery of iPhone 13 battery is actually larger than what we have on the iPhone 14 Pro. Of course, the screen refresh rate and the size of the processor will also be considered. Apple finally cracked the problem they have with the battery life. Older iPhones has great standby time, but sucks in screen on time. iPhone 13 is pretty good on both, even beating the flagship Android rivals, with most of them having a bigger physical batteries. In my personal test, this is an easy 2-day phone for me in moderate use. A major benefit of the new iPhone is that Apple is likely to support it with software updates for many years to come. Even the iPhone 6s is compatible with iOS 15, so if Apple continues to offer that depth of software support, You can expect that iPhone 13 to continue receiving updates until around 2027. And lastly, on the subject of durability, the iPhone 13 series is IP68 dust and water resistant, which means it can survive up to 6 meters of water for a period of 30 minutes. Personally, I pretty much cleaned this with tap water, and phone is still working as it should after that. So these are the things that would make us say it is a good buy. Now let's talk about the things that would make this phone forgettable. First is the outdated notch. Although the notch is smaller than the previous iPhones like iPhone 10, 11, and 12, still with the new dynamic island, it made the iPhone 13 look older in a snap. Sure, we would say it doesn't matter, but in reality, people are normally upgrading to the newer iPhone just for the heck of having the newer iPhone. Haters will hate, but that's true. This phone looks really boring and old. It also doesn't have the dynamic functionality of the island. One important note here is the iPhone 13 display didn't get 120Hz that Pro and Pro Max has. The displays on those phones refresh twice as fast as a standard 60Hz screen for a smoother experience when scrolling on web pages or playing games. If you have experienced this technology before, I know it's common on a lot of Android phones, you'll notice the difference here, although it's a feature that's nice to have, but we can live without. I think one thing that hurts the iPhone 13 is the lack of interesting camera features. The new iPhone 14 Pro has action mode, which seriously kills the action camera market. iPhones, I believe, are the future of video cameras. We may see people taking advantage of the new features of iPhones, which this phone doesn't have. Also, on a hardware perspective, there's no telephoto shooter here. You're reliant on the digital zoom, so this phone isn't going to be the best for grabbing long-distance shots. Another software features missing on this phone are always-on display and car crash detection. And I believe even the newer iPhone 14 doesn't have always-on display. This feature together with ProRes are reserved for the newer iPhone 14 Pro. So by buying the iPhone 13, you're missing on the software features present on the iPhone 14 series. And lastly, I think $849 Canadian dollars is a bit high compared to Android alternatives. There's so many options out there. You can buy Pixel 7 Pro with all Google experience, excellent camera, awesome battery life, and pure Android goodness. Samsung S22 is also one of the great options, although the battery life would not be as good as the iPhone, or the newer OnePlus 11, which will give you one of the best speed performance on an Android phone, and of course, plethora of Chinese Android phones present on the market today. Personally, $849 is a little steep for a phone that is 2 years old. So these are the pros and cons of this phone. Recommendations. iPhone 13 is a great phone but not perfect. It doesn't need to be. It gives you everything that an iPhone users will want to use and skip the things which will be of a second thought. I will not recommend this phone to anyone who has iPhone 12 or 12 Pro. I think it's better to wait for this year's iPhone. There's not much of an upgrade, to be honest. And I will recommend this to everyone probably using an Android phone to try something new but old looking. You will love the camera, the speed, and the battery life. This is a great value iPhone compared to all iPhones Apple released this year. If the pros are the things you need, it's a good buy. But if the cons outweighs the pros, then see you later and goodbye. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to compare this phone in our channel, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.